Again, my name's Gabe Zollner. You know, you've heard me say this quite often. You have to go to this website. You have to go to Canada Free Press. You have to go before it's news. You have to go to Western Center for Journalism. You have to go to WND. And you have to read this post. You have to read that post. Well, you really have to read this post. I think our First Amendment rights are going to be under significant attack. The title of this particular article is DOJ, Slam Muslims on Facebook, Face Feds. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? So now what they're saying is that if anybody, I guess, talks disparagingly about Muslims, then you can be prosecuted by I guess, attacking their civil rights. Now, it's okay for the federal government to mandate that any military person that talks about his religion to another military person can be court-martialed. It's also okay for the feds to tell Catholics that have employees that they have to provide contraceptive devices and pay for abortions when it's against their religion. That's okay as well. But it's not okay if anybody talks disparagingly about Muslims on Facebook. Now, the problem that I have with that, other than it's this direct attack on our First Amendment rights, is that you can't tell the difference between a radical extremist Muslim and a Muslim. And that's really a problem. And for those of you that have listened to some of my videos, I do make a distinct difference between the two. I don't put all Muslims in the same kettle. I say the radical extremist Muslims are the ones that we have to watch. The problem, again, is how do you tell them apart, which is a real issue. But what I think is amazing is that our federal government now is going to prosecute, according to this article, anyone that posts comments on their Facebook that are disparaging comments towards Muslims. Once again, how do you distinguish the difference between the good guys and the bad guys? You can't. So it looks like there's very little doubt that our First Amendment rights are going to be under severe attack. I don't understand why the Jews aren't put into the same kettle of fish. You talk disparagingly about someone that's Jewish. Why doesn't that fall under the same kind of law? Or you talk about someone that's a Catholic or an Italian or a Hispanic. This is focused on Muslims. No different than the Arab Spring was focused on Muslims. No different than what Obama did in Syria by arming the Syrian rebels to try to depose Bashar al-Assad. That's, again, focused on Muslims. No different than what Obama did in Libya when he launched an airstrike that killed Gaddafi's military, which allowed Gaddafi to be slaughtered and dragged through the streets like a dog as he was raped. But they're all Muslims. But they're the kind of Muslims that Obama likes to support. They're all Sunni Muslims. And now, all of those countries that have been taken over, where their leaders have been removed, are under Sharia law, under the control of the Muslim Brotherhood. I read an article a while ago where in Syria, although it's still under control of Bashar al-Assad, and he is a Shiite. He belongs to a Shiite sect. The Brotherhood has already put plans in place that they're going to implement as soon as they've been able to depose him, assuming they're able to depose him. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. What's really of concern is that our First Amendment rights are completely under attack. It's amazing, isn't it? Obama just keeps whittling away the Constitution. So be careful of what you say on Facebook. If it's disparaging comments that you're making, then again, according to this article, you could be prosecuted in a federal court. Pretty nuts, huh? Well, again, if you looked at my videos, or if you watch a number of them, I do talk disparagingly about Muslims, but only the radical extremist Muslims, not Muslims in general, and I've made comments to that pretty much every time I mention the Muslims. And again, I do believe that Obama himself is a radical extremist Muslim. So if that is talking disparagingly about Muslims, then that's what it is. I don't believe that it is. I believe that I should be allowed to exercise my First Amendment rights, as well as all of my other rights. That's why we live in this great country. And it's about time our Congress wakes up and protects the American people. Enough of this madness.